Testing, testing. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Like always, my name's Jose Najarro, and I'm here to live stream. I'm gonna take questions you guys have. Right, I wasn't on last week. I had a minor health procedure done, but I should be back to normal today, and the following this week. So guys, welcome back. Feel free to post any stocks you guys want me to take a look at on the comments. We can take a look at anything. I also just want to see how the overall market is doing. What else are we going to take a look? Just recent news and just anything really affecting the market today. So it definitely has been crazy, a great week, right, for growth stocks investors last week. It was probably one of my favorite weeks in a long time. Portfolios now at levels I have never seen before. So that's always exciting to see, right? Super exciting to see. And the great thing is, right, the power of long-term investment, right? I didn't make any major changes to my portfolio, and it's now doing the levels it's at right now. So like I said, guys, if you guys want me to take a look at anything, feel free to post on the comments below. All right, I think I'm all set up for this. So everybody, hope everybody's having a good Monday today. If we take a look at the main market, let's start off with Finviz. Let's start off taking a look at the main market today. We can see Dow is down about 0.39% right now. NASDAQ is up 0.68%, so probably a nice amount of tech stocks are running today. S&P 500 is pretty much flat for the day. Let's take a quick look at the maps. Fizz, you have meetings at 10 a.m. Oh man, I am sorry. I might see if I might push them a little bit earlier on certain days, Fizz, just so we can have you back. But enjoy that meeting you have. We can see Nvidia, man. Nvidia's still killing it. Freaking up 3.82% right now. Most of the semiconductors are up, right? We have Intel up 1.75. We have AMD up 1.77%. Silenex is also up 2.19%. Hope you're feeling... Yes, thanks, Viz. I feel 100% better. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. And if anything, I'll see you on the Discord channel and we can chat in a bit. We can definitely see, right? Semiconductor, what's going on, Polly? Good morning. We can see semiconductors are really killing it. AMAT as well. This is more technology wise. All these are up 1.75%. Definitely a market I enjoy thoroughly. CRM, Salesforce, some software stocks are still up. I did mention that I did believe most of the software market is a bit crazily overextended right now. I don't know if you guys saw my market update on Friday. I took a look at certain ETFs. For example, one of them was cloud computing. Was it cloud computing? Yeah, cloud computing, which is an ETF that follows a lot of software stocks. This one I want to say is pretty overextended. So I want to say certain companies within the clouding market or within the software market might be a bit overextended. But today we see that softwares are still up pretty big. So Autodesk is one I enjoy. I don't have it in my portfolio right now, but I enjoy that company for sure. Fizz, we both called that AMD was attractive. Didn't expect. Agree. Even though, right, when we were saying that Nvidia was already outperforming, I didn't think it was just going to continue to outperform. But like, right, I'm pretty sure we both said it. Even though we believed AMD was attractive, there was no reason to sell Nvidia. And good thing we didn't, right? So Nvidia's still killing it, up almost 4% for the day, sitting at $791. That is insane. Nvidia has become one of my biggest positions in my portfolio. I think now with these gains is a little bit higher than 10%. I'm not planning on trimming anytime soon or even thinking of trimming, so that's a-okay with me. It can keep going up. Right now, most of my stocks are in the green. Gravity is up 8.3%. This one's still pretty interesting though. What else? We have e-commerce of Africa, Jumia, up 7% today. We have Skills up 5%. Nvidia's now up 4.3%. It's insane. We have Zoom killing it at 3.6%. A lot of my favorite stocks are up here, right? We have Shopify here. Activision is up. I kind of wish Activision would stay down. This is one I'm looking to buy this week. I actually just did a video on the 4 stocks I'm thinking of buying this week. Activision was one of them. Mercado Libre is another one. This one's up 1%. Tattoo Chef is another one. This one's down about up 0.65%. And Pinduoduo is another one. I do think this might be a week where I might only purchase one. I really want to increase that exposure into Mercado Libre. It's looking really, really nice. I actually ended up doing 2 videos on it this past weekend. One was just the overall 4 stocks, and the other one I wanted to compare how C Limited was C Limited really taking market share from Melly, and it at the beginning it did look like it, but in the long term of things, I don't think Melly has anything to worry at the moment. Unity, I mean, Unity is killing it. I'm so happy this is up 1 point. It's over $100. This has been one of my favorite companies. A tier 1 stock for me, right? It's probably the only tier 1 stock that was red for me most of the time. Now it's on the green. Let's see how long it stays there. Where's the other one? Sorens. Where are you, Sorens? How are you doing? Sorens is nice. Pretty up. It saw some crazy pull up. And then now it's just kind of pulling back down. If anybody wants to take a look at any stock, guys, feel free to post. If not, we can just take a quick look at what else is happening in the market. Some other one that looked interesting that I didn't really do a video on. Maybe I will in the upcoming days. You can see I have the color. So Gravity was going to be one that I thought looks pretty attractive right now. This is good if you want to get exposure into like the mobile gaming, into the emerging markets, right? 2 markets that I believe are a bit undervalued right now. So Gravity was a potential for this week. I don't think I'm going to do it, but it was a huge potential. Berkshire is another one. This one, Angus, thank you. Appreciate it. Hi, Jose. Glad to see you on streams again. Yeah, last week was just a crazy, a pretty intense week for me, so I might as well had taken off. Get back to 100%. I was still trying to deliver with content, but I slowed down with the streams. David Becker, hey, glad you are back. Thank you, guys. Also, tomorrow, guys, I am gonna be, I don't know if you guys remember, I did a kind of interview of an investor a few months ago. I think it was, I don't think, it was 7 Investing CEO Simon Erickson. Tomorrow I'm actually doing another interview. I kind of invited this dividend investor. I'm not much into dividend investing myself, so I actually wanted to take the opportunity to learn more about the growth and the power of dividend investor. So tomorrow I have a guy by the name, he has a big Twitter community. He is Decade Investor. He pretty much focuses on dividend investments. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know what kind of questions you guys might have for dividend investments. I already have a huge list, but if anybody has any type of questions they would want me to ask, feel free to let me know on this stream. I'll probably also post it on Twitter today or the Discord channel just to see what some of the people want me to ask. He's so pretty. Like I said, I'm not much into the dividend investing, so I really wanted to learn from someone who has been doing it for some time. And I also just get exposure to the overall community of different styles of investment, right? I feel like most of it is, my talks are usually in the growth market, but I do believe it's great to learn about other types of markets and investment. So what else do we have here? Frankie, Proterra looking good today. Glad I bought Friday when it was nice. Nice, Proterra. That's one in my account for sure. Frankie is one of the few EV companies that I own. I think I might have bought a little too early. I don't think I'm too down on it. And it's not here because they recently just changed the they finally merged, right? But it is up nice amount. It's up 7% today. I think I got in the high teens, so I think I'm in the 18s. I remember not buying. I don't think I bought at these levels. I think this is when I bought. But Proterra is one I do enjoy. One of the few EV stocks I own at the moment. Henry, hey Jose, what's going on? Is it time? Is the right time to buy SoFi? Thank you. Unfortunately, Henry, right? I don't have SoFi in my portfolio, right? I mean, I've done plenty of videos on SoFi, Henry. I can't give advice. I'm not any form of professional. But let's say I was bullish in SoFi. Let's say I was really, really bullish in the company. Would now be the time I would get in? As a long-term investor, yes, I mean, it's definitely seen better days, but it's not overextended right now. As long as there hasn't been any major, I would try to find the first few things, Henry. First, has there been any major updates on SoFi? I don't believe there has. I don't believe there has. The second thing I want to see is when is the lockup expiration? And I'm pretty sure that's what's happening recently. So let's see, lockup expirations are traditionally bad news for investors. This is the moment when the early comers, generally large shareholders, are finally allowed to offload their shorts. Considering the case for the lockup SoFi shares today, Monday. So today, okay, Henry, today is the lockup expiration date for them. Main reason why the stock has probably seen crazy run up right in the past 3 days. It has dropped a nice amount. Let me take a quick look at the daily trend. Right, most of it happening yesterday. So I do want to say after today, a good portion probably of the risk, right? A lot of volume. You can see right there is a lot of volume happening right now. Probably a lot of insider selling, right? It seems like maybe insiders are kind of offloading. If I was bullish, I would probably enter at these levels, but I like dollar cost averaging, right? Dollar cost averaging for me is a great way to kind of reduce the risk. I might buy, if I was bullish, I would buy some today. I would buy some tomorrow if it drops a little bit more. Obviously, anything I want to say around the mid-teens is where a lot of support seems to be in at, right? So that would probably be my prime time. But right now, definitely not overextended. Frankie, I'm watching SoFi too, but I'm leaning more towards FSR. I'm hoping it will dip back to mid-19s and now jump on. FSR, that's First Solar? Is that? No, that's Fisker. Oh, Frankie, it seems you're really, really into the overall EV market right now. That's actually pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, EV stocks have definitely, especially some who are pre-revenue, have definitely taken a huge hit. I don't really know exactly where Fisker stands in the overall EV market. Like, are they producing the car already, or is it one that's the Ocean release date? That's expected to come later this year, right? The end of 2021 or early 2022. So certain companies like this, like I wouldn't mind having in my portfolio, but I would have to remember that these are kind of pre-revenue to some extent. So I personally just would have small position size. Sometimes even waiting out and kind of being late to the party, you're not really late to the party. You can still get amazing gains. You know, I'm not gonna lie, the vehicle though does look pretty cool from the front end. David Becker, yep. Not sure if it's in production or not, but have them too. Yeah, so it seems production is pretty soon. They're already taking reservations. I wonder how many tests maybe they might have. Investors relations, they do. Let's see if they have any recent news. Fisker set to join Russell 300 index on June 28th. Okay, that's actually some. It's good to be into that sort of any form of index, right? It allows exposure, and more funds tend to buy your stocks. So in form of volume wise, that's good for Fisker. Fisker and Magna signed long-term manufacturing agreement. All right, so they don't have to take too much. They used to make an EV, then Tesla came along and killed them, so they're back from the dead, so to speak. They're okay. That I remember something like that, right? I think in 2008 or 2009. I don't remember. Is this the company that went bankrupt? David? I remember there was a EV company that's kind of back to where it was before. They kind of went bankrupt during like the early 2000s and 10s or later 2000s. Might be this company. So are there any stocks you guys want to take a look at? Feel free to post. We can take a look at everything from fundamentals, technicals. Let's see right now. NASDAQ is still, I mean, yes, last week was a great week, right? Last week we saw a lot of growth stocks going up, right? Like I mentioned earlier on, I'm super excited because my portfolio is now at levels I don't think I've ever seen. But at the same time, right, that I think that's the power of long-term investment. I didn't really manage anything, right? I didn't really make any big changes on my overall portfolio. I kind of just waited it out, and now it's doing really well. And I think this is going to be how it's going to be, and I think this is how it's going to be for the upcoming year and for my future investment career. Some months we're going to have great months. Some other months we're going to have bad months. But overall, I think it's going to be better than worse in the long term of things. So that's why long-term investment to me is my favorite style of investment. Hey mate, what's going on, Premier League? Could you take a look at Doji? Oh, David Becker, thank you. I did not know that. So Premier League, I'll take a look at Doju in a bit. Doji, I forget which one is the proper pronunciation. Probably neither. And Chana, APXT, please. We can take a look at that one, Chana. Give me just a quick second. Beachbody, SPAC. Beachbody was probably one of the few SPACs I really did enjoy right now at these levels. So that's actually body stock. What is it sitting at right now? It's $12. So today it's up a nice amount. It's been up probably. It was sitting at great levels, right? It's at $10 for the past few months. So this one was definitely giving great buying opportunities for stocks. For investors if they're really bullish. I did a few videos on Beachbody. FRX I think was the SPAC at the time. David Becker, you bought in sort of high, but that's how I knew the ticker change. Dollar cost averaging, right? This isn't bad, right? It's definitely, it was, we can see the overall SPAC mergers were kind of exciting in February. I'm happy to see a nice cool off, but things are blasting off a little too fast again. So Premier League, let's take a look at Premier League. He wants to take a look at Doji, or Doju. This is ticker DOYU. Let's start off with just the overall stock charts. So Doju, for those that are not familiar with this stock, this is a live streaming platform. If you know, for example, Twitch, YouTube gaming, YouTube live streaming, exactly what I'm doing right now for China, right? This is one of the leaders in China. The other leader is Huya, one of my favorite companies. So they're mainly focused in mobile game streaming, but I'm pretty sure they are expanding into other genres as well. First thing, right? This is a company in China. That alone brings a lot of volatility to the stock, especially as talks keep going on and the negative bias within Chinese companies. To that extent, I only put X% of my portfolio in Chinese investments, right? I have Tencent, I have Huya, I have Niu, and I think that's it in form of Chinese. At this, right, I still like to invest there. I just limit my exposure. Doju has definitely taken quite a hit, right? Stock price has been in a downtrend for the past five months now. I do like Huya a little bit better, but let's take a quick look at their overall. Let's take a quick look. Has there been any recent news on Doju? Let's see. Boom, boom. Any recent news for this stock? I don't think they've canceled. I don't think the overall merger has ended yet. They are gonna merge with Huya. I don't think that has been canceled as of yet. So no, it doesn't seem like there's any major news. It's right now just people don't like Chinese stocks. And personally, I like Huya better. But right now, super small market cap, $2.3 billion. Future growth. This is one that is expected to grow 13.9%. I am huge in the gaming market, and I do believe in the live streaming company. So that's why I'm pretty bullish in Huya. They are profitable in earnings. Cash flow from operations have no data for March 30th, but taking a look at December 30th of 2020, they were profitable in earnings and they were positive in cash flow from operations. If you take a look at their balance sheet, it looks pretty strong. They have 7.5 billion in Chinese yuan in cash and short-term investments and no debt to their name. If you take a look at ownership, right now, you know, Tencent owns a big portion of this, 37.2%. I don't think that's going to change, right? They really want to get this merger between Doju and Huya. Even if the merger doesn't happen, I don't think Tencent would sell out of their position. I'm pretty sure they will still keep a nice portion. I personally like Huya a lot better. That's been my tier 1 stock last year. But Doju, very volatile. In theory, I don't think it's overvalued right now. If you can withstand volatility, if I wanted to get into this market outside of Huya, I like Huya a lot more. I wouldn't mind entering at Doju at these levels, but at the same time, this stock can continue to go down. So Premier, are you in Doju right now? What are you thinking? What are you worried about Doju? What are you looking for in terms? And while you're taking a look at that, we'll take a look at China stock. He wants to take a look at APXT. This is Apex Technology. This is the SPAC, right? That's gonna merge. I've done a video on this. I want to say later in 2020. The name sounds familiar. Not one I have followed too recently right now. Let's see what else. Elias Jr., what's going on? Have you looked on LGF? They seem the next one to be acquired in the stream war. Which one, Elias? Which one's LGF? If you can give me a quick breakdown on it. Christian, what's going on, Christian? Good morning, Jose. Good morning, Christian. What are your thoughts on Viacom? It has pulled back a lot and could be an acquisition target. On Viacom, right? That is the streaming. I did a video on Viacom recently. Not recently, a few months ago. In form of streaming giants right now, I personally wouldn't buy a company just because it has the potential of being an acquisition target, right? That's definitely not a market I would invest, Christian. I can see a lot of people doing it, and I can see it being a way to make money. I just personally don't go with that investment style. Another thing that I want to say about Viacom, it is a huge player right now in the streaming world, right? They have Viacom. Is that the one who owns like MTV, Nickelodeon, and all those? CBS, right? Viacom, CBS. I forget what markets they really own. I want to see some of their global brands. Yeah, so they own Nickelodeon, Showtime, Pluto TV. I mean, Pluto TV, I think is an underrated application. I kind of cut cords, and I use Pluto TV when I do watch TV. I barely watch TV, but when I do Pluto TV, I want to say it's super underrated. So they have Showtime, it seems, right? Showtime. Did I see Showtime here? Yeah, Showtime. So overall, Viacom is a huge, in my opinion, huge content holder. But for me, I think in this streaming war, I would personally invest in like the tech ad companies, like maybe Roku, Magnite, Abs. Even though I don't have all those positions, those are probably the positions I would personally like a little bit more, right, Christian? Just because there's so much content out there, but who are really gonna be making the money are the people selling those ads or buying those ads. I believe Comcast may be interested in acquiring Viacom. But again, if you do enjoy the content that they have, and a great acquisition if they get bought out, you might get shares of whoever buys them out. But very underrated. I do like, from the brands that they have, I want to say they're probably one of the strongest. They have a market everywhere, right? MTV, BET, Paramount Plus, CBS. You have people from everywhere. CBS Studios. This is definitely one of my, for me, right? These are probably the shows, the TVs I watch the most. Right, Christian? I like to get exposure to the e-gaming industry. At this level, Doji seems to be undervalued stock right now. So Premier League, you want to get, okay, so the exposure in the e-gaming industry, for sure. I do want to say the mobile gaming industry is super strong right now. If I did it, let's say Premier, let's say I had no exposure into the e-gaming industry right now. Let's say I had a blank portfolio. I personally would enjoy Tencent more. That would be the first one I would be looking at. Tencent is such a huge leader with all the companies that they own, right? Tencent owns Doju. They own a portion of Huya. They own a portion of Riot Games, of League of Legends. I think that's Riot Games. They own some investments in Activision, in Spotify, of C Limited. They own a lot of mobile games in China. So Premier League, if I didn't, that would probably be my way if I wanted to get exposure to the e-gaming industry. I think Tencent would be my favorite way to go about it. If I want to get more direct into it, I think it would probably be either through I personally would go through Huya, but I can see why certain investors would go through Doju instead. So let's see, what else do we have? My bad, Chana. So Chana, let's take a quick look at this one. I kind of went over it. So APXT, this is still an acquisition, a SPAC. Man, when are they expected to close? So first thing, taking a look at technicals, right? Right, Chana. Not overextended, right? There's definitely been better buying opportunities when looking at SPACs, especially if it's a company you want to get into. I forget which one APXT is merging with. It's one of those. It's a software company, I believe, right? That's we can take a quick look. But overall, the stock price not overextended at all. Obviously, better prices. If I wanted to enter right now, it does seem like SPACs right now are kind of heating up again. So just be careful with that volatility. And Bowie, hey man, how's the morning going? I just tuned in. Very good morning today. I'm happy to be doing these live streams. Back here. So happy to have you. What are your thoughts on the company I work at, SNC-Lavalin? I have not heard of that one. I'll take a quick look. So first, Chatna, let's see, APXT. I want to see this company again. Who are they merging with? I just want to take a quick look. Merger, APXT merger. I know I've done a video on them. AvePoint. Have I done that video? I think I have. Not AcePoint, AvePoint. Man, I do so many videos. Yes, I have definitely done a video on AvePoint. So Chatna, right? I mean, the acquisition hasn't really changed. So I definitely would say take a look at my video on it. Just put Jose Najarro APXT. It's probably about 6 months old, but it will give you a better understanding of these fundamentals. I kind of looked at this chart, so follow this presentation with it. Yeah, it's actually November 23rd of 2020. I do enjoy the company. It just wasn't on my top list. I did have it for some time. I think I sold out of it. But if you want to see my full fundamentals on this, definitely go to just YouTube, put APXT Jose Najarro, and you can get my full thought process on this company. So feel free to do that instead. I think that would give you a better bang for your buck, even though you didn't pay anything, but better bang for your time. So let's take a look. It's the ticker SNC stock. SNC-Lavalin. All right, this is an engineering company. It's a Canadian company based in Montreal that provides engineering, procurement, and construction services to various industries, including mining, metal whatever, oil, gas, environment, and infrastructures. Okay, so you guys seem to be, it seems like you guys are an engineering firm. Is that right, Dewey? And my bad, I might be mispronouncing your name. Please give me a heads up if I am. But it seems pretty interesting. Engineering company, super small, market cap of $5.8 billion. Right now, past year has done amazing. Right? 56% for sure. It does pay a small dividend yield. That's pretty interesting. Normally, a company that small, you wouldn't see paying dividends. So I'm gonna expect this is probably not growing its revenues at crazy levels right now. But let's see, SNC. And if you're not familiar, right, Julie, I am an engineer myself. I actually did work for an engineering firm, a bigger one, right? In the aero and defense market. So I think engineering firms are probably the best place to work at. So we can see super small market cap, $5.8 billion. The company is profitable in in forms of earnings, they are all over the place, so I don't really want to say anything from there, but they are positive in cash flow from operations. So, and they're also one, I guess there's not too many analysts looking at this company. Kim Martin, sorry, what is the Tencent ticker? I do believe it's traded over the counter, TCEHY. So even though it's traded over the counter, it has plenty of volume. So yeah, over the counter here in the United States, it might be TCEHY. I think if you might be in Europe or something, it's under CEHK 700, right? So that's definitely, it depends on what market you might be in. So there's not too much information on it, Julie, right? Doesn't seem like many analysts are looking at this company, so they don't see much potential growth. So that seems a bit weak. Final cash, if I take a look at their balance sheet, right, what do they have? They have $906 million in cash and short-term investments, about $1.8 billion in debt. They do have a nice amount of receivables. Their balance sheet, not something I enjoy, Julian, right? Just looking at the fundamentals isn't really, I think, a full analysis, right? This is just like 1/3 of the analysis that I do. But overall, I'm not a huge fan of the balance sheet. It's not a horrible balance sheet, right? They do have a nice amount of cash and short-term investments, but they are a bit leveraged. That's okay. I'm pretty sure most of this is long-term debt. I want to see if they have maybe an investor's presentation. I want to take a look at how their most recent earnings did. SNC Investors Relations. Maybe they reported some strong numbers that we're not really seeing here. So they seem to be winning projects, deliver appointed. So they are making some wins, right? I want to see the first quarter results. I would assume COVID definitely affected it, right? Julie, I would say, right, especially for my engineering firm that I used to work, we did see a bit of slowdown to some extent. Nothing crazy, but it was definitely some slowness for a few months at least. But they did see revenue. They are profitable in adjusted EBITDA. That's good. Let's see what else we can see. Yeah, so first quarter compared to 2020, they didn't see much growth. It was pretty much a small decrease. But it wasn't a big impact in forms of revenue. The great thing is most of these engineering firms, right, they kind of have plans already. They have these jobs kind of lined up ahead of time, and it's more just working them out and trying to get new plans. So it doesn't seem like it affected the company much. So Julie, in forms of fundamentals, not the best, right? It's not horrible. Definitely not horrible. Like, I wouldn't think this is a company that was going to go down anytime soon. I just personally I would personally not invest just because I feel like there's other places a little bit stronger than out there. So extraordinaire. All right, let's take a look at 30. Third, what's going on, man? I feel like I haven't seen you for some time. Afternoon from a beach in West Ireland. That feels nice. My wife is probably jealous right now if she's watching this and she just read that. SoFi looks like a buy after price drop. Third, yep, agree. I mean, somebody was just talking about that at the beginning of this episode. I do agree. SoFi right now, today is the expiration date on the lockup period, really causing a bit of volatility. For long term, if I was looking, excuse me, guys. If I was looking for long-term investments right now on SoFi, I would say I wouldn't be angry buying at these levels right now. Hey Fizz, have I gotten? You're out of the meeting. Congratulations. Hopefully, meeting well. Did you talk about Gravity or Wish? I have not take a look at any of them. Fizz, feel free to let me know if which one you want me to look at for sure. Let's see, what else do we have right now in the market? And guys, I don't know if you guys missed it. On tomorrow, I will be doing. I will be interviewing a dividend investor. Decade investor. He has a nice following on Twitter. I kind of reached out to him, see if he wanted to join. I'm not a dividend investor myself, but I really want to get at least exposure or knowledge. It doesn't mean I'm switching to a dividend investing, but I just want to get knowledge, right? I believe it's great to get knowledge. So I am going to record that and I am going to share that later on. I think either the same day or maybe the next day. So if you guys have any dividend questions, feel free to let me know in the chat and I will pass along those questions to Decade Investor. So right now, man, Nvidia is doing well. Like, holy crap, are you invested? Julie, am I invested in Nvidia? This is my number one stock. This is my tier one stock. This is one that this is why I enjoy pullbacks, right? Completely enjoy pullbacks. When I first, I liked NVIDIA for a long time, but before this pullback, and when I mean pullback, I mean, let's take a quick look. I've really enjoyed NVIDIA for a long time. But if we take a look at it, where is it? Let's take a look. So before, I want to say, I was really looking at it in January and February, but the stock was over $600. When we saw this pullback in around 515s, I think at these points, NVIDIA was probably like 1% of my portfolio. Due to the pullback, right? This is why I believe pullbacks are amazing for long-term investments. And it's why you should have some form of tier level. When the pullback happened, NVIDIA went from being like my number 25 position in my portfolio to becoming my number 1 position. So I was happy to enter at these levels in the 500s. And now I'm really happy I entered at those levels. So NVIDIA's number 1 position, it's probably around 10% of my portfolio right now. Maybe after today's gain, I wonder if it's going to break 800 today. It's insane. Obviously, I do want to say we do have some big risk for NVIDIA right now. Risk doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but the biggest risk right now is this stock is definitely overextended. Look at this compared to its moving averages. Completely overextended. There's two things that could happen, right? One, the stock price may just be quiet for next few months or so and wait till the moving averages kind of meet up with it. Or two, there might be a small pullback, not a small pullback, a pullback. So I do believe there's certain risk at these levels, especially when overextension happens. Even with these risks, though, I still enjoy NVIDIA. I have no plans on selling. I have no plans on doing anything because I believe in the next 5 years, $800 is a lot, is nowhere near the price it's going to be in 5 years. Nice, Julie. You so pretty good. I mean, that's one thing I used to do. Right? I used to buy stocks and then after a nice return, sell them out. And I kind of stopped that. I've read a few reports that you probably lose the most money selling out on strong companies, even though they pulled up a nice amount. So selling out has probably become one of the last things I do nowadays. There was even a report that says that, let's say you have a bad position, even if I forget where the report is, and I had to really don't trust me right now. It was to some extent, even if you have a bad position, in the long term of things, if you didn't sell out of that position, most of the time you still end up doing better than selling out when you wanted to sell out. I have to take a look at that, and I'll probably share it on the Discord channel, where it's better off to never even selling a stock than to selling and buying something else. Frankie, so NVIDIA 1,000 before split, like I said, I don't know. It would be insane. It definitely would be insane. I'm glad I got in last week. Also, just bought FSR. Couldn't resist myself. Nice. Frankie, that's another market I feel like I need to really start getting a little heavier on. The EV market for sure. We're still in way early innings. I think we haven't even started the game in EV markets, right? Still such a small market exposure. But I'm definitely gonna start looking out there for more. Also in the clean energies. Julie, you said, what are your general thoughts on people who look at charts, candles, and patterns? Is it something you consider when you invest? So like I say, there's multiple ways to make money in the market. I don't think there's a proper way. I think everybody should find their own method. I would never say, hey, you look at charts and stocks and trends and that's how you invest. If that's your investment style and it's working for you, who's me to judge you? I personally don't use that to my full extent, right? I start off with fundamentals, understanding the companies, understanding where, what type of markets they're hitting, where can I kind of see the innovation growing. That's the first thing I do. To some extent, I do look at charts, right, Julie? And this is the most of charts I look. I just make sure the stocks are not overextended. If they are overextended, if I want to buy, let's say, NVIDIA right now, I would still buy it. But since it's so overextended, I would only buy a small position. If it was closer to here, I would buy bigger positions, right? So that's how I use charts. I don't use charts to dictate me what to buy or what to sell. It kind of just helps me out decide how much I should buy and how much I should buy, not how much I should sell. It kind of helps me a little bit with risk. And Julie, honestly, that sounds about right. One company I lost 90. That's crazy for a 90% in 2 years, right? 2 years right now seems like nothing. And looking at it in the past, right? But think about it right now. 2 years from now seems like forever. But that's actually pretty good. And I would say it would be very, very hard for you to use that 10% that you have left, and you would have to grow it. What is it? 1,000% to break even again. That would have been almost impossible to do. So Joe, what's going on, Joe? EV market is early stages for sure. Agree. Like I mentioned, if we are in the first inning at that, and yes, agree. Strong day for growth stocks. Right, space. I do have space in my portfolio. This is one of the few speculative stocks I do own. This is but it was crazy, right? They did just recently get the license for commercial flying. I thought that was pretty interesting for sure. But growth stocks are definitely killing it today. Skills, we have Zoom, we have Active, even more like techs, right? Because we have Nvidia, we have Activision, we have, what else do we have? T-Doc is gaining some steam again. T-Doc was definitely sitting at some great levels. So yeah, Aaron, it's a pretty interesting topic. I have to take a look at it in a bit, right? That whole concept of it's really worth to sometimes sell. I guess every investor, right? That's the thing. Every investor has their own style, has their own investment thesis about it. Ford is definitely David. Frank, you're talking to David, but I like to get into this conversation. And Aria, I see you want to take a look at TRQ. We'll take a look at TRQ for sure. Frank and David, should we start looking at Ford now? Ford is one that looks pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting for sure. I've done a few videos on it, especially on their most recent earnings. I think on April was the last video I did on them when they saw this crazy dip after they announced. I believe this quarter they're expecting somewhere between 25 to 50% production reduction due to the semiconductor shortage. So I did talk about it here. I do enjoy the products that they're making, right? I think Ford is one at this moment people were sleeping on. It doesn't seem people are sleeping on it too much, but it still looks pretty interesting. Not one I have right now, but definitely one to keep an eye out for sure. Frankie, anyone have IEA? Which one's IEA, Frankie? I feel like I've heard of that one. David, I bought GM when the Hummer was announced and got F not long after. Major manufacturers. Yes, agreed, David, right? I do believe these major players are amazing. And I feel like people are thinking, hey, these are old guys. They're not going to be able to survive during the overall innovative market. And I feel because of the amount of cash, they can really just throw money and innovate at crazy fast levels. And give me 1 second, guys. Let's see. I want to post the Discord channel. I don't know if I think there might be some of you guys that are not in the Discord channel, Discord group. Real quick, here you go. These are free, and actually, while we're here, guys, I am starting a free weekly newsletter. I really want to just focus in semiconductor and gaming, because my YouTube videos I really focus on just general markets, but I really want to talk about my niche levels, and that's usually gaming and semiconductor. So I posted those two. If you guys want to subscribe, go to the Discord channel, and if you guys want to get on the weekly newsletter, again, it's free. So definitely take a look. So exactly, those older companies are gonna be just fine. Agreed, Joe. Right? I think it's you have higher risk and reward. You have higher risk but reward potentials with these newer companies. I don't believe a lot of these newer companies are gonna make it, but the ones that do make it will provide great returns to investors. The ones that will provide some decent returns and eliminate a good portion of the risk are probably going to be some of these older companies. So it all depends on what type of investment style you are, right, Joe? And Joe, I still talk to Dre from your survey? Dre, I talk to him from time to time. I think I know he was starting a YouTube channel of something, and he always asks me questions about just like some of the equipment I use. I think that's to the extent that I think that was a few months ago. So let's see, David, and the F-150 Lightning is going to kick. I really want to see that for sure. Good morning, Q. What's going on, Q? How's it going? Hope you're doing good. Hope the family's doing good, Q. Hope Mama Q is doing great. Aaron, you're on a great app called My Wall Street. These guys are amazing at picking long-term winners. They did a piece where the head investor picked 4 game-changing stocks for the next decade. Stocks that he believed will be FANG. Chose Etsy, Teladoc, Airbnb, and surprising for me, DocuSign. What do you think of these stocks? That's actually a pretty interesting. Those stocks. I mean, that means those are his tier 1 stocks, right? Etsy, Teladoc, Airbnb, and DocuSign. Pretty impressive. I would definitely enjoy reading about them. I have taken a look at let me just show Joe. For some reason it didn't want to show your message, Joe. So Aaron, that they seem pretty strong, right? Fundamentally, I believe they're strong. Etsy is pretty interesting. They just did an acquisition to kind of move into the younger base with selling of secondhand clothes. So Etsy to me is a little weird, right? I still haven't really looked at it. Teladoc and Airbnb, those two I can definitely see being a huge winner in the next decade. DocuSign, that's one I don't follow too much. His previous stocks were Shopify, Netflix, and Tesla. Those have done amazing. That's actually pretty cool. Visvis, agreed, right? There is a chance that none of the new ones make it. For sure, right? That's also a potential. Or if they do make it, they might make it to the extent that, hey, someone might just buy them off and it'll be acquisition. I actually just ordered from Etsy. Wow, Joe. I don't think I mean, I think when I was getting married, I was looking at Etsy for like groomsmen gifts, like personalized groomsmen's gift. I think that's the only time I've ever ordered from Etsy. If it was, I don't remember correctly. Would that be something in Etsy that you would get customized stuff, right? Fundamentally, they are all great companies, if I recall correctly, and I have kind of done quick analysis on them, Aaron. All right, let's take a quick look at Aria. I'm pretty big Etsy bull for sure. You're everything. Everything I don't have, you have. Now you're a big Peloton bull. I gotta start looking at Etsy and Peloton now, cause you seem to get on the great ones for sure. So let's see. We have Aria TRQ. What is TRQ? Is anybody familiar with this stock? Turkish Hill Resources. This is a mining company. Okay, definitely. This is definitely a market I'm not in. I wonder if we've looked at it before. I think we have. So right now, super small market cap, $3.4 billion. This is a Canadian mineral exploration and development company headquarters in Montreal. Majority, okay. Let's take a quick look at their fundamentals. TRQ. So, like I said, super small market cap, $4.3 billion in Canadian dollars. Future growth. This is a nice growth company, expected to grow 13.8% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. They are profitable in earnings, and their cash flow from operations tend to be a bit all over the place, but analysts expect that it will change in the upcoming years and will become positive in cash flow from operations. A company like this, I would kind of want them to have I would kind of have them to have a strong balance sheet. They have physical assets of $11.2 billion. I'm guessing as a mineral company, most of your assets are actually the equipment, the mining, whatever goes into mining. So $11.2 billion in physical assets, $4.2 billion in debt. So they do have a nice amount of assets, which with this type of assets, they're probably able to grab good forms of loans because they have these types of collaterals, and they have about $800 million in cash. Personally, I'm not much into the minerals market right now. Who was it, Aria? I can see why investors are excited. Their balance sheet, it's definitely strong for the type of market it's in. Normally, I don't invest in this market because I prefer companies that have more cash and short-term investments than debt. But I understand that this is a company that has a lot of physical assets, and they can kind of use that as collateral and other ways to kind of really not really much worry about that debt. They are expected to grow at strong levels, and they are expected to be positive in cash flow from operations in the future. If we take a quick look at technicals, what do we see? Not overextended anymore. It was a bit overextended, but has definitely seen a nice pullback. I want to say this kind of 1650 seems to be a nice volume area. Even this 1590, right? So there's definitely a nice amount of support at these levels in the long term of things. Again, right? Fundamentals, technicals don't look bad. Fundamentals don't look bad for the type of market it's in. Just not a market I personally would invest in. Ryan, they actually just purchased another stock today. Nice. Yeah, because they did purchase that clothing company about a month ago, right? Frankie, Ryan, and Frankie, is it time to start looking into the cannabis stocks? Not a market I follow, Frankie. Is there an ETF right now, Frankie, in that market? Would it have to be? I'm just guessing. No, that's not an ETF, right? Is it Buzz? Probably not. I don't know. I was just trying to think about it. If there was a MJ? I'm guessing this. Is this an ETF on? It might be, right? Alternative Harvest ETF. I want to guess. I don't know. Maybe you guys can do a quick research. This might be an ETF for the cannabis business. MJ. It makes perfect sense if it is. If it is, I want to say it does seem like this market is not overextended at all. Let's actually see MJ Holdings ETF. No, it's actually and to some extent, right? They do. Let's see. Holdings. They have 10%. Tilray is their biggest. Yeah, so this is all right. So it does seem like this overall market, right? Who was it? I forgot who was just talking about it. Frankie. It does seem like this overall market is not overextended right now. It's definitely sitting at great values compared to where it's been in the past. So if I wanted to enter the market, I would say right now would probably be a nice time for long-term investments. Again, not advice, just my thoughts. These did not do very well last year, as obviously okay. An interesting fact about Etsy: jewelry and clothing were their top two categories pre-pandemic. This did not do well at the last year due to COVID, right? Makes sense. As things go back a bit more normality, these categories will jump back up and keep that revenue pumping. One of the reasons why I'm bullish, although ironically not a huge fan of using the site. Aaron, maybe that might be the great reason why they purchased that other clothing company, that reseller in clothes, a month ago, because that industry, like you mentioned, was pretty strong for them. So guys, I do believe I am gonna call it now. This is it for today's live stream. I will be on. I don't know if I will be on tomorrow, just because of Decade Investor and the interview, and I'm finally gonna go get a damn haircut. It's been some time, so I'm gonna be. I gotta get that done tomorrow morning. But maybe I might do an afternoon stream. I'm not sure. So guys, thank you for passing along. I do appreciate the support from everybody. If you guys are on your way out, make sure to hit the thumbs up or go to my recent video. Just go post a quick comment. It really helps out. And let me make it even easier for you guys. Just go to my last video. Just put a nice a comment, right? The comment alone helps so much with YouTube algorithm. A nice thumbs up as well. So take care, guys. Happy to have you back, and see you next time.